When people talk to you about money, what do they talk about the most? It's probably your stock portfolio or your emergency fund or your savings or your holiday, but the one thing that everyone forgets to talk about is your childhood. This is probably one of the biggest things that has shaped the way you see your money right now, and is often the one that is neglected the most. So in today's video, we are going to discuss your childhood and why it matters for your own money psychology. So let's take it back to when you were a child. I'll give you my story for context. I remember my mum budgeting everything on a piece of paper, literally writing down every single expense. Now I want you to think of your own childhood. Did your parents have tendencies around their money? Did they even talk about it? I just want you to think of how money was talked about in your household. Because oftentimes when I speak to people about how money was talked about in their household, it wasn't talked about at all. It was probably done privately in another room by just their parents. But on the other hand, you may have been raised in a household where it was talked about all the time. You were trying to scrimp and save for every single penny you had. Maybe you heard your mum talking about coupons so you could save every single penny you could on food. Maybe you heard dad talk about car insurance, ringing them up and saying, right, we need to get this down. There is no way I'm leaving this call until we have dropped this insurance down to what I want it to be. Ultimately, there is no right or wrong way. We were probably prone to completely different circumstances, and our parents had completely different viewpoints on money. Maybe you had a mum and dad that had completely different perspectives on money, or you could have been raised by a single mum who literally had to scrounge for every penny she earned. Like I said, there's no right or wrong way. It's just how you were raised. That's just how things happened. And that leads nicely onto the next point. How did your parents behave around money? Even if you didn't hear them specifically talk about money, you could have got a lot just from their actions. Were they a saver or were they a spender? Did they overthink about their money or were they completely nonchalant? There is literally endless things you could have picked up from your parents. They could have not budgeted, they could have budgeted, they could have used their credit cards, they might not have used any at all. Did they go into debt and could you see that they were in debt? Or didn't they? They could have been extremely generous with their money, or they could have been completely fearful and wanted to avoid it at all costs. And that leads nicely onto stage 3, and that is that the behaviors and habits of your parents could have become your own. Without even realizing it, if your parents budgeted every single penny, that probably means that you now budget every single penny. And this is the trap that pretty much everyone can fall into. If you've seen your parents do something, then you will probably do it too and think it's right. But you do have to remember this is your parents' first go at life as well, and they are just trying to figure it out just as you are. So that doesn't mean that everything they do with their money is actually correct. They have flaws as well, and so do you. So if you've just come to a massive realization that you are copying your parents in some way subconsciously from when you were 7, I'd get all of them written down on a piece of paper so you can really challenge these beliefs and whether they're logically right or wrong. Because this is when we move on to the hopeful part, which is rewriting your money scripts. You see, money is actually neutral. It's just a tool that we can use to exchange for what we want in our lives. So that doesn't mean because your parents did something that you have to do the same thing. Oftentimes, if you begin your own education on money and personal finance and financial literacy, you can be different to what your parents were. If you read books about personal finance, if you watch YouTube videos about personal finance, if you listen to podcasts about personal finance, you can change your money perspective. So honestly, one of the biggest things I did to change my own money psychology from what I saw as a child is to learn about personal finance and get financially literate on my own. Don't get me wrong, you are going to make a lot of mistakes on your journey, but if you can learn from the right people from the beginning, you can become financially literate in 2026. And part of becoming financially literate isn't just learning about saving, investing, budgeting, and all the basic principles. It's actually understanding your own money psychology. So if you can take anything from this video, I'd urge you to start studying personal finance. Give it 3 months of solid research. Start separating your identity from your parents to your own and build your own money rules around saving, investing, budgeting, and all the principles of personal finance. Because Because if you can break your generational patterns and choose education over fear, you can become one of the most financially literate people you know.